Hi everyone, this week we're talking about time. If you're a creative person like me, sometimes you put off what you're working on because you think it's not good enough. And then because you're putting it off, you start hating yourself. Well, I have two helpful things to remember. First, the bad news. Nothing you ever do will ever be perfect. It'll never reach your level of satisfaction. Salvador Dali said, "Have no fear of perfection. You'll never reach it." And he was a guy who was a lot more famous than us and wasn't afraid to take some risks. We are finite creatures with finite time. And if you hate yourself because your work isn't perfect, you're like a boss who hates his own employer. It's not a good work atmosphere. The good news is the more time you spend working on something, the better it'll be. Darrell Hammond said he didn't think he had as much talent as other people, so he figured he just had to work harder. So even if you aren't that talented, work harder and you will be. So if you know that you will never be completely satisfied with your work, and that the more time you put into something, it'll get better, how do you know when your project's done? Well, you just have to set a deadline. Because once you set that finish line, then you can start pacing yourself and figuring out what you're going to do in the meantime to get there. My deadline for these videos is every Monday. And once that deadline approaches, yeah, I can get stressed, I can get anxious, but once I start working on it, it gets better because I start seeing the finished product more and more. The sooner I start working on it, the easier it is to deal with. But if I never set that deadline, then I would never get anything done and not have a product to show people. So if you have a creative idea, are you working towards it? Have you set a deadline on it? I'd like to hear more about what you think, so you could write in the comments below. Check out our video in the next coming weeks, which is our third most valuable resource in this series.